What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses comes face to face with one of daytime television's most unpredictable hosts? Today, we're diving into the jaw-dropping confrontation that had viewers glued to their screens when Julia Roberts appeared on The View and everything spiraled out of control. This is a story of how Joy Behar pushed America's sweetheart too far, triggering what many are calling one of the most dramatic walk-offs in daytime TV history. Be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments, because this story is one you won't forget. The studio lights blazed as Julia Roberts stepped onto the View set, her signature smile instantly igniting thunderous applause from the audience. Radiant in a flowing emerald dress that perfectly complemented her iconic red hair, she waved gracefully before taking her seat beside the panel. Whoopi Goldberg welcomed her warmly, joined by Sarah Haynes and Sunny Hostin, but something was different that morning. Joy Behar sat back in her chair, arms crossed, a faint smirk playing on her lips. While the other hosts seemed genuinely thrilled to have Julia there, Joy watched her with a sharp, almost calculating intensity. "Julia, welcome back to The View," Whoopi said warmly. "It's always such a pleasure to have you here." "Thank you so much for having me," Julia replied, her familiar laugh filling the room. "I always love being here. The energy is wonderful." The conversation began easily enough. Sarah asked about Julia's latest film, Sunny touched on family life, and Julia responded with humor and charm, drawing laughter from the audience. Yet Joy remained silent, studying her. Then, abruptly, Joy leaned forward. "You know, Julia," she said, cutting Sarah off mid-question, "I've followed your career for years. Don't you ever get tired of playing the same character over and over again?" The room went still. Julia paused, her smile flickering for just a moment before she recovered. "I'm not sure what you mean, Joy. I've tried to take on a wide range of roles throughout my career." "Oh, come on," Joy pressed, her grin sharp. "The romantic lead, the girl next door, the big smile. Same movie, different title. Don't audiences deserve more from someone with your supposed talent?" Whoopi shifted uncomfortably. "Joy, I think Julia has shown... let's be honest. You've built a career on being America's sweetheart. But what happens when America gets tired of sweet, when they want something real?" Julia straightened, her smile now gone. "I believe my work speaks for itself. I've always tried to bring authenticity to my roles." "Authenticity?" Joy scoffed. "From where I'm sitting, it looks like you've been playing the same version of yourself for 30 years. Sunny tried to redirect. "Julia, tell us about your upcoming projects." "No," Joy snapped. "Let's talk about privilege. Let's talk about how easy it is to maintain a perfect image when you've never faced real adversity." Julia's eyes flashed. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Joy continued. "Born beautiful, discovered young, handed success on a silver platter. What do you know about struggle?" The audience fell completely silent. "Joy," Julia said carefully, "you're making unfair assumptions about my life." "Are I?" shot Joy back. "Because your biggest struggle seems to be choosing which mansion to live in." "Okay, that's enough," Whoopi said firmly. "No," Joy insisted. "It's time someone called out this perfect princess act for what it really is." Julia's face paled, but her voice remained steady. "I've never pretended to be perfect. I've been open about my mistakes." "Have you?" Joy challenged. "Or have you just shown the version your publicist approved?" The tension was suffocating. Camera operators shifted, sensing history unfolding. "I came here to talk about my work, not to be personally attacked." "Oh, is that what this is?" Joy smirked. "I thought this was honesty." "There's a difference between honesty and cruelty," Julia replied. "If honesty hurts, maybe you're not as strong as you pretend." Julia inhaled slowly. "Strength is sitting here while you tear me down for entertainment. Strength is choosing not to respond with cruelty." Joy's eyes gleamed. "There's the fire. How does it feel to finally drop the act?" "This isn't an act," Julia said. "This is me trying to keep my dignity." "Let's talk about your marriages," Joy suddenly said. "3 of them, right?" The audience gasped. "Joy, that's inappropriate," Whoopi snapped. "My personal relationships are not up for discussion," Julia said, her hands trembling. They show the gap between image and reality. You play love stories, but your real life tells another tale. I'm an actress, Julia said through clenched teeth. I play characters. And you never stop playing them, even now. Tears welled in Julia's eyes. This humiliation, you're enjoying it. Finally, some honesty, Joy said coldly. That's enough, Julia said quietly, standing up. I won't tolerate this. Oh, don't be dramatic, Joy scoffed. This is not a conversation, Julia said. This is character assassination. She removed her microphone. Julia, please, Whoopi pleaded. No, Julia said. Some things are just wrong. Joy attempted backtracking. If I hurt your feelings, everything you said was intentional, Julia replied. Every insult, every attempt to tear me down. I'm a journalist, Joy said weakly. No, Julia answered firmly. Right now, you're a bully. The word landed hard. I am not a bully, Joy snapped. Then maybe it's time someone told you the truth, Julia said softly. Life is hard, Julia admitted. Life is messy, but it's also beautiful, and if my work brings joy to even one person, I'm proud of it. What's naive is thinking cynicism is more honest than hope. Joy erupted. Don't you dare lecture me. I'm choosing not to participate in this anymore, Julia said, unhooking her mic. This is reality. No, Julia replied. This is cruelty. As Julia walked towards the edge of the set, Joy called after her. Don't walk away from me. Julia turned back once, her expression calm but resolute. Yes, we are finished. And with that, Julia Roberts walked off the set, leaving a stunned audience, shell-shocked hosts, and Joy Behar frozen in place as the cameras kept rolling. Whoopi finally turned to the camera. We'll be right back. But the damage was done. The studio remained in stunned silence for what felt like an eternity. The audience was frozen, caught between disbelief and awe, whispering to one another about the unprecedented drama they had just witnessed. Cameras lingered on Joy Behar, her hands gripping the table, her usual smirk replaced by a rare look of vulnerability. The bravado that had carried her through decades of interviews seemed to evaporate under the weight of what had just occurred. Backstage, producers scrambled. Executive assistants whispered furiously into headsets. Call security. Get Julia. We need a statement. The chaos was palpable, a stark contrast to the controlled, polished production that The View prided itself on. Meanwhile, Julia Roberts walked through the corridor leading to her dressing room, her emerald dress flowing behind her. Her steps were measured, deliberate. She wasn't running away, she was reclaiming her dignity, her voice, her narrative. Every insult, every unfair accusation had been met not with retaliation, but with poise and unshakable integrity. Inside the dressing room, Julia took a deep breath, letting the adrenaline settle. Her assistant handed her a glass of water, and she smiled faintly, almost ironically, thinking about the absurdity of the situation. For decades, she had been America's sweetheart, the girl next door with the radiant smile. She had faced critics, rumors, and scandals before, but never in such a personal, public ambush. And yet, for all the tension and humiliation, she felt strangely liberated. Across the studio, the panel sat in stunned silence. Whoopi Goldberg rubbed her temples, muttering under her breath, I don't even know what to say. Sarah Haynes and Sunny Hostin exchanged worried glances, clearly shaken by the intensity of the confrontation. Even the usually unflappable Joy Behar seemed to be recalibrating, her bravado faltering under the reality of what had just transpired. News of the incident spread like wildfire. Clips of the walk-off began circulating online within minutes, garnering millions of views and sparking an immediate social media firestorm. Fans defended Julia, praising her composure and calling out Joy's harsh approach. Critics debated the ethics of confrontational interviews, questioning where the line should be drawn between tough questions and personal attacks. Headlines screamed, Julia Roberts walks off live talk show after tense exchange with Joy Behar, and daytime TV's most explosive confrontation, who's in the right? The fallout was immediate. Sponsors quietly reached out, producers planned crisis meetings, and the network braced for both scrutiny and rating spikes. But one thing was clear. Julia Roberts had reminded everyone why she was more than just a Hollywood icon. She was a woman unwilling to let herself be publicly diminished for the sake of spectacle. Days later, Julia released a short, measured statement to the press. "I came to The View to share my work and connect with viewers. Unfortunately, the conversation turned personal and hostile. I walked away because I refuse to participate in cruelty, whether it's on television or elsewhere. My hope is that people remember kindness and respect, even when disagreements arise." Social media exploded with support. Memes, reaction videos, and heartfelt messages poured in from fans around the world. People celebrated her grace under pressure, calling her response a masterclass in dignity and the real Julia Roberts shining through. Back at The View, Joy Behar faced the aftermath. Interviews and commentary dissected her behavior, questioning the line between hard-hitting journalism and public humiliation. For the first time in her career, she found herself confronting the consequences of pushing someone too far. And though the cameras had stopped rolling that day, the impact of that confrontation lingered in every conversation, every headline, every social feed. It was a reminder that fame does not make someone untouchable, but integrity, courage, and self-respect do. Julia Roberts had walked off the set, but in doing so, she had walked straight into a story that would be remembered for years, a story of poise under fire, strength in vulnerability, and the courage to say, without compromise, enough is enough. The days following the infamous walk-off were nothing short of chaotic. The incident dominated headlines, trending worldwide on social media. Hashtags like Julia Walks Off, The Real Julia, and Joy v. Julia filled feeds with reactions ranging from outrage to admiration. Memes poked fun at Joy's relentless questioning, while countless posts praised Julia for standing up for herself with grace and poise. At the network, executives were in crisis mode. Meetings ran late into the night, with producers and PR teams dissecting every second of the broadcast. "We have to contain this before it spirals further," one executive muttered. "Ratings are through the roof, but the backlash could cost us sponsors." Lawyers debated potential defamation risks. PR teams drafted statements that carefully balanced defending the hosts while acknowledging Julia's response. Meanwhile, Julia Roberts herself remained remarkably composed. She spent the days following the incident quietly, reflecting and preparing for interviews, but on her own terms. Every phone call, every meeting was measured, deliberate. Her approach was clear. Let the moment speak for itself. She didn't need to defend her dignity. It had already been established live in front of millions. Joy Behar, on the other hand, faced an unfamiliar reality. Her office phone rang nonstop, managers and producers calling with urgent questions. Social media had turned sharply against her. Critics argued she had crossed the line, branding her approach as unnecessarily cruel rather than hard-hitting. Even longtime fans expressed discomfort, questioning whether she had pushed the envelope too far. Public commentary was relentless. Opinion columns debated the ethics of daytime television interviews. How far is too far when questioning public figures? Was Joy exposing the truth or simply weaponizing her platform? Media outlets replayed the exchange over and over, analyzing body language, tone, and timing. Every nuance of the confrontation became a topic of national conversation. Then came the interviews. Julia, carefully curated, spoke with measured honesty. "I respect journalists and tough questions," she told one outlet, "but there's a difference between accountability and cruelty. I walked away because I refused to be humiliated for the sake of entertainment." Her words only fueled admiration. Fans shared clips, praising her restraint, her strength, her unwillingness to be drawn into a battle of insults. For many, it was a powerful reminder of the line between public persona and private humanity. Joy Behar, meanwhile, went on air to address the situation herself. Her attempt at explanation, while confident, lacked the impact she intended. "I was asking hard questions, but even her words seemed defensive, tinged with the unease of someone who had misjudged the moment." The segment generated debate, but it couldn't erase the widespread perception that she had overstepped. Inside the studio, relations were strained. Whoopi Goldberg and the other hosts reflected on the tension that had erupted on their set. Meetings were held to review protocols, discuss boundaries, and prevent future confrontations from escalating so dramatically. The incident had shaken the team and reminded everyone of the power that words wield, especially in live television. Amid the chaos, one thing became clear. Julia Roberts had won the moral high ground. She had taken control of her narrative, refusing to allow cruelty to overshadow her legacy. Meanwhile, Joy Behar, for the first time in her career, confronted public opinion that questioned not her skills, but her judgment and humanity. Months later, the story was still being referenced, a case study in media ethics and celebrity interactions. Talk shows revisited the clip. Social media analysts examined audience reactions. Julia's walk-off had become iconic, not just as a dramatic television moment, but as a lesson in integrity, boundaries, and self-respect. And though the cameras had long stopped rolling, the impact of that one confrontation echoed everywhere. A stark reminder that even in the glare of fame, standing up for yourself is never a weakness. It's courage.